Oh dear. Right. Well, anyway, ladies and gents, we've got quite a comical piece next. Fourth graders were left distraught after teachers shows Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey to class. Why the hell would
What?
you show fourth graders Winnie
What?
the Pooh Blood and Honey? So I saw this and I thought I haven't taken a
Piglet,
look at it.
I've
Take a
been
look at it
told that
together.
bacon tastes very good. And I've recently
So
learned that bacon comes from pigs. So I have to
Right,
say
yeah.
I'm sorry, but I must eat your face off.
Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, the recently critically panned horror parody. It is terrible, by the way. A bloody awful film, which puts a slasher spin on the classic Disney children's tale. Classic Disney? It's not Disney. Is it? It's not Disney.
It's associated with Disney because the version of Winnie the Pooh that we all know is the Disney version.
Oh my god, this is going to be
It's
another
public domain now.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the version that I'm doing with this voice, that's
it's
the Disney
Milne.
version. Yes, but
the animated version that we all know is Disney.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why remember it from books?
Yes, it originally was a book. It's now in the public domain.
Whatever. This is another thing where I'm like, anyway, culture. Moving on. Was screened for a group of fourth grade students at the Academy of Innovative Education, a K-12 charter school in Miami Springs, and parents were up in arms. That is hilarious. Why would they screen it? Apparently, the kids selected the movie themselves, and the teacher was under the impression that the gory, low-budget flick was just a normal, kid-friendly Winnie the Pooh adventure. Why would you do that? It's called Blood and Honey, and clearly it's... Oh, my God. However, reports claim that he still decided to leave the movie playing even after Pooh and Tigger began their murderous rampage. And the distraught students asked him to turn it off. So he's there murdering people, and the kids are like, please turn it off, please turn it off. He's like,
oh, I can't imagine how many pissed off parents there were.
Oh my God, this is gold. Michelle Diaz, mother of a pair of twins in the class, is not at all happy with the faculty's response to multiple complaints from parents. I feel completely abandoned by the school, said Diaz. They were exposed 20 to 30 minutes to a movie called Winnie the Pooh, Honey and Blood. Bitch, come on, blood and honey. He didn't stop the movie, even though there were kids saying, hey, stop the movie. We don't want to watch this. It's not for them to decide what they want to watch. It's up to the professor to look at the content. CBS News Miami reached out to the head of the school, Miss Vera Hirsch, who provided the following statement. Oh, this story's gold. The Academy for Innovative Education has become aware that a segment of a horror movie was shown to fourth graders Monday, October 2nd. That was not suitable for the age group. Our administration promptly addressed this issue directly with the teacher and has taken appropriate action to ensure the safety and well-being of students. We are actively monitoring the students, and our mental health counsellor and principal have already met with those students who've expressed concerns. Motherfucker, these people are so soft these days. Look, it's very clearly not real. Okay, sorry. I remember being so young, watching Hellraiser, watching Predator. I didn't sit there and cry like a wet white pansy mofo. Look, obviously it's not appropriate for everyone. I get that, but mental health counsellor. Christ alive! You don't even know what that is when you're a kid. You don't know you shouldn't know what mental health is when you're a child.
Well, you should have seen what I did to Rue.
Fucking hell. Anyway, this is hilarious. Nick, what on earth do you think about this?
So, this reminds me of a story. I'm going to tell you guys this story. It's pretty funny. So I was probably in the 4th or 5th grade, maybe at the time, but my parents were going out of town, and my uncle was watching us, my dad's brother, and they gave him money for, like, pizza and to rent movies and all that sort of stuff. Well, he rented a movie that you guys probably know called Pumpkinhead.
Just watched it last week.
And
Great movie.
that was the movie that he rented for us. My mom was so pissed.
What a legend.
But you know, I watched the movie and I was like, I don't really think this is like a kid's movie. But I wasn't like traumatized by the movie. I didn't need to go seek counseling or anything like that. But you know, parents these days, just the way society is today, like everything is, you know, people are overprotective and that sort of stuff. So I mean, I can understand you know, parents' frustration with this being shown at school and stuff. I mean, we never saw anything like this when I was in the 4th grade. If I could go back and we did see this, I probably would have thought it was awesome. You know, but yeah, this is a pretty funny story here for sure.
Oh, I think it's comedy gold, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Tom?
Well, I mean, it's not that bad of a movie until I start killing everybody and I go on a bloody rampage because I just have a thirst for blood and honey. And I'm sorry.
No, I think it's hilarious. I mean, shit like this happens, but the fact that the teacher didn't, what was he? Here's my big question that has not been answered yet. What was he doing for that half hour when the students are sitting there going, turn it off, it's scaring the shit out of me? Because granted, yes, like you, Nate, I was a young kid who could handle movies, but I knew a lot of kids who can't.
Yeah.
Right. And seeing something like this, especially considering a character like Winnie the Pooh, who is synonymous with over here in the US, especially Disney and kids entertainment and stuff like that, to see something like this. And we all saw the trailers. If you haven't even seen the movie, you can only imagine what these kids were put through for 30 minutes.
It's brutal. It's gross.
That's what I mean. Like, regardless of whether or not they were able to handle it or not, whether they watched something like this at home or not, I can see some parents rightfully having an issue with this, especially when I have yet to see a clear reason or what this teacher was doing for a half hour. Like, did they not see what's on the screen? Right. I mean,
he was on the school computer on porn sites or
that's what I'm trying to figure out here, Nick, because this is my bigger question at this point as a parent would be like, what the hell were you doing when these kids were watching this movie? Could you not hear, you know, the screams and hollers and Winnie the Pooh going, I'm going to eat off your face? You know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, take
it's
some,
so bizarre.
You know, just tact or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't understand it. So I'm curious what it comes out to be. And Nick might be right that this guy was perving over on the fucking computer instead of paying attention to what these kids were watching. And that's probably worse. And that's probably why they're covering up for it. And he's willing to take the blame for this part as opposed to telling why he didn't stop the goddamn movie after 5 minutes of realizing that this is not Christopher Robbins, right? Like,
yeah. What's funny though is when this news broke, and I think Tom and I were together when this news broke, we were speculating on it being this film, you know, because of the age range and everything else. So I find it fascinating. Perhaps some of the kids ginned up the other kids to get them to do it, but honestly,
that was my other question. Yeah, that Culture's bringing up is how did this movie specifically get brought into the mix? Was it somebody brought it from home? Was it something that was the school had in their own possession and that somebody ordered accidentally?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like, hey, we want to watch this Winnie the Pooh movie. Well, okay, well, seems a little young for you guys, but sure. I mean, regardless, somebody was abdicating their responsibility. It was the teacher. First of all, not doing a cursory search of the film that you're about to put in there was extra dumb with cheese. You know, and second, you know, not being present during, you know, some very strange you know, scenes that were very well. It's pretty violent. I mean,
it is. It's shit.
It's not great. It's not a good movie. I mean, but
and I'm just hard pressed because, like, unless they had it in like a case that didn't, like, this is what the movie looks like in both the US and UK and wherever. Like, this is the how does that even look remotely kid friendly?
Yeah,
exactly. Like, I'm stretching here. Like, I think people are overlooking a very big question of what the fuck was the teacher doing. First of all, that they thought it was a good idea to put this movie in the first place, like Culture said, not to even do like a cursory look at the tape or not tape. Jesus, listen to me, I'm old. Look at the DVD and go, oh, this is rated R and blood and honey. No, kids, we're not watching this. Because I agree, Cultures might be right. Maybe some kid brought it in. I was in 5th grade. I would have done something like that. Like I would have tricked the teacher into showing like Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that, and said it was Nightmare Before Christmas or something. You know what I mean?
I would have brought Life Force in.
Something, you know what I mean? Like, yes, if I could have convinced the teacher to show something they're not supposed to show, I would do it. And yes, if it's a substitute teacher, it's even easier to convince them of doing shit. Yeah. But after 10 minutes tops, like you can't tell me that. You got to be able to tell that movie is not what they say it is. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I brought in The Last Starfighter.
Oh,
great. Class to watch.
That's PG-13. I remember my teacher not letting us watch E.T. because it had the S word in it.
Yeah, but I brought that film in. I thought this is a good film. I was right. You know,
everybody loved it too, didn't they?
Yeah, well, and again, you have to remember. I mean, I was an older person at that point in time, and
is Starfighter PG? I thought it was PG-13. I can't.
All I know is that we had 5 days left of the semester of the year because we were headed into the summer, and everybody's finals were done, and you know, you're just like sitting around for those last several days of school. So we would watch movies, and so I brought in that, got enough people to side with me, and ta-da, that's what we watched.
Well, look, I found this comedy gold. I love it. I think it's very funny. Look, it's bad, obviously, as well, but it's hilarious. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I want to know what that teacher was doing. To be fair, it's very comical.